Lizardlea here for day 17 of Four Heavenly Beasts, the Heaven and Earth design. The couch is gone. The new one is coming in today. I'm very excited. Super empty, and it's kind of echoey now, which is super weird. There is my progress from day 16. You can really see the outline of the snake. Like, just... It's cool. I like it. And you know, you can still see the tiger over here a little bit. Meow. I'm gonna go Stitch now.
And we're recording. Go, handsome.
Just go.
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 You got this.
Alright.
Go, go, Power Rangers!
Love you, dear.
Love you more.
So, first off, Fully Cooley, or FLC, or whatever you want to call it, which you haven't watched and you're going to watch probably this week. Well, maybe not this week, but soon, because it's short.
Yes.
So, it's unique. I'm not sure everyone would like it, but it's short and it's worth watching. It's another coming-of-age story. It's kind of spiritually in the same ballpark as Gurren Lagann, but weirder.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm not sure you're gonna like it, but the reason you have to watch it is because, again, I'm in high school, and I have not watched too much anime at this point, like mostly just kind of standard action-y stuff like Bebop, you know, things with obvious narrative plot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in California in a hotel room, and my dad was out doing something. I forget what we were there for. And so I was channel surfing and landed on Fully Cooley. And I watched the episode, pretty much in utter silence. And then it ended, and I was like, what the hell was that? I had not seen anything like that before.
I think that was my same reaction. I saw it in 7th grade in Vegas.
Yeah. So...
The one episode that I vaguely, barely remember.
Yeah, so I immediately went, interesting, and decided to find a way to watch it, because I also didn't know it would only be 7 episodes, or 8, whatever it was.
Mm.
So I caught all the episodes eventually, because not like it was hard, and it's really interesting, because it's a very loose narrative tale. It doesn't really care too much about making a ton of sense.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
It's not really my ball game, but continue.
You might still...
Yeah, I might. I know. I'll give it a shot. I'm just saying, like, you are not selling this to me personally at all.
I'm not trying to.
Are you trying to sell it to the people of YouTube?
The cross-stitching community?
Yes. Don't mock them. I'm part of them, you butthead.
I don't know. I already feel like there can't be that much overlap. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way...
I mean, look at the anime and movies that I'm into. And I love to cross-stitch.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I said I could be wrong.
I'm eccentric. It's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's famous for a reason. You should see it. It's that simple. Like, you can't... It's very hard to be like, oh yeah, you're gonna love it, or oh yeah, you're gonna hate it, because it's so weird. Like, I definitely didn't like parts of it on first watch, and then liked it more as I watched more. I know you're not a huge fan of the, like, abstract. It's not exactly abstract, but at the same time you're like, well, they just said this, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of a thing for puberty. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get that. Like, it's... There's eyebrows... It's definitely fan servicey at times. It's kind of the point.
I don't have issues with fan service.
Yeah, I know.
You do, but I don't. Which is weird, because I'm the girl and you're the guy.
I think I've made this argument before, but my biggest issue with fan service, as with many things that use sexualization to, like, sell or get attention, is that it often is an indicator of lower quality. You know, like, if you see an advertisement and it's got a whole bunch of, you know, sexy women or men on it, I'm especially on the internet, not clicking on that. It's going to give me a virus, or it's probably not that good, or and the animes that focus solely on fan service are usually not that good. They usually just sacrifice the plot and the quality. It's just ha ha ha, look, sexy jokes. Or heck, even like action anime that this would be good if they stopped trying to show off everyone's bodies every 5 seconds.
My Valentine. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, trust me,
Oh, I know, but I hated her, and she was all fan service.
Yeah. So...
Okay, so we're gonna watch it. You don't have anything else to add.
It's good. Like I said, it's unique and it deserves its praise, and it's worth seeing. It got a sequel eventually, but I didn't hear anything good about it, so I never watched it.
So it doesn't exist, just like the sequel apparently to Psycho-Pass. And
the sequel to Psycho-Pass should be literally a death sentence to mention until it is removed from history.
I still want to watch it.
Yeah, okay.
Alright, what's next?
Trigun.
Trigun was... No, is Trigun Vash the Stampede? I liked Trigun.
You did.
I
knew
did.
you would.
I really did.
So Trigun is Space Cowboys. I think is pretty freaking accurate. In the sense that they're not in space, but it is quasi-futuristic, and they're on some sort of desert planet. And
so if you like Firefly, no, continue.
yeah, no, not quite the same, but yeah, it's
kidding.
more Western than space. The space part doesn't kind of come until later, and is arguably a mild spoiler, but whatever. So heavier spoilers from here. Because, yeah, it's space, because the idea is that humanity sent off all these ships to go colonize the universe as Earth was dying, and this ship crash-landed on this planet, and it wasn't supposed to. Basically, the ship scanned the planet, was like, wow, this is a horrible place to land, and then bad things happened, and it landed anyways. The main character, Vash, is the definition of Mary Sue that I often see. Literally, they're like, hey, did you watch Trigun? If you did, think of Vash. Think of his traits. Don't write that.
Oh, but I love that.
Well, if you're trying to do a nuanced or interesting character. But yeah, it's
he was adorable and I loved him.
Yeah, he's a pretty good way, it's a pretty good example of, if you're gonna do a Mary Sue, here's how to do it right. He is a complete and utter Mary Sue. Nothing he has ever done has ever been wrong. He basically has incredible unrealistic convictions, and rarely is truly challenged by them. Usually his insane skill will get him through. Mm-hmm. But the main point of the plot is actually challenging those convictions pretty much every step of the way, and then finding out what the heck's going on. He is supported by two insurance saleswomen and a priest with a gun.
The women were my favorite.
Yes.
I loved them.
You liked the salespeople.
The really big woman with the... Did
Millie.
she carry around a gun?
Yeah, she had a gun. Well, it was a stun. They call it a stun gun. It shoots giant crosses.
She was so awesome. It has been a year and a half since I've seen this show, so I only vaguely remember it. Was there a kitty every episode?
Yes, there was a kitty.
There was a kitty every episode. I loved that.
Yes, there's a cat every episode, and I mean it's just good. It caught up to the manga when it was being animated and passed it and had to come up with its own ending. But my understanding is that, I don't know how much of it was intentional or whatnot, but I guess they kind of got the crib notes from the manga writer, mm-hmm. and were like, okay, yeah, and then did an ending. So the ending in the show, while they arrive there at a much different route and don't cover a lot of story that happens in the manga, is basically the same ending that happens in the manga.
Oh, okay.
Including, Wolfwood's Cross and things like that. So... Mm-hmm. Much more major spoilers. If this sounds even remotely interesting, I would highly recommend it. It's good.
I liked it.
It's not hyper violent. It's not uber disturbing. It gets dark, and it does have some, unpleasant moments. But it's nowhere near as messed up as half the stuff we've talked about. Yeah, the cross stitching anime community that's into dark anime. Yeah, great. We're wonderful for this. So yeah, again, if anything, if this sounds even remotely good, go watch it.
Yeah,
But
I would recommend it.
so then the big spoilers are, the idea is that there's a few humans awake on this ship while it's going through space, and everyone else is frozen and asleep. And they're supposed to go find a place, land safely, and then use all the technology on the ship and wake people up and, colonize the planet.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 children aboard the ship named Vash and his brother Knives. They are not human. They're what's called plants. And they don't really go into detail exactly what that means in the anime. I believe you get more detail in the manga. But suffice it to say that they somehow are like gigantic sources of unbelievable amounts of energy. And also, again, not human. So they derp around on the ship, and Knives is darkly pragmatic. Like, there's a very blunt scene where, there's a spider and a butterfly is caught in the web of the spider, and the spider's going to eat the butterfly, and Vash is freaking out because he's a kid, and Knives kills the spider, and Vash gets angry because he wanted to save them both, and Knives is like, you're an idiot, the spider starves if you don't kill or if you take the butterfly anyways, so it's the only way to do it. Certain members of the crew are abusing Knives, they already don't like them, there's like racism and implied other kinds of abuse. And so Knives rightly decides, in his view, that...
You need to GTFO?
No, that humans don't deserve to live. A little bit more than that.
Humans need to
Yeah,
GTFO.
that just like the spider-butterfly analogy, they are the butterfly, humans are the spiders, the only way to survive is to kill the humans. Mm-hmm. So he decides that him and Vash are going to go live on this desert planet because they can, using the technology of the ship, and they'll make their own little utopia, and all the humans will die. This woman who's kind of been like a mother to Vash sacrifices her life to save some small portion of the humans. And that's how they crash land on this planet. And when they crash land on the planet, they start repopulating. So Vash, lots of crazy stuff happens. Like Vash waits outside a crashed ship for like 100 years for Knives and junk like that. But short version, he gives them both these revolvers that he uses throughout the show. And it turns out that when Vash gets really, really emotionally distressed, he can trigger these things and, like, nuke a city. Woo-hoo. So the whole show starts out with him having this ridiculous bounty on his head because he's the man who, destroyed a city and put a hole in the moon and blah, 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 blah. And that's because, he got in a fight with Knives and fired this weapon in a city and wiped out the city and killed almost everybody. Or actually, no, I don't believe the actual firing of the weapon killed anyone, because that's always how it is with Vash, is he always finds a way to save everybody. Mm-hmm. But they do actually touch on the fact that, that's nice, you saved everybody, air quotes, but still blew up the city, so of course thousands and thousands of people starved to death in the aftermath, and, horrible crimes were committed. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing worth going over is Wolfwood. He's this preacher that they meet fairly early on, who is, again, kind of a foil to Vash, and that he's much more pragmatic, but he's also ridiculously powerful. There's these villains who are out to get Vash, and it turns out he's one of them, even though you spend a lot of time getting attached to him.
Yeah, I really liked him, too, didn't I?
Yeah, and then he died.
My favorite lived. She lived.
Yes, she did, dear.
And actually, did the 2 girls end up... Were they lesbians?
No.
No, they weren't?
No, in fact, I'm pretty sure it's implied that the preacher knocked up Millie before he died.
And that was the girl I liked more, right?
Yes.
The bigger one.
Yes.
I shipped them, didn't I?
Yes.
I can't remember who I shipped. That's why I'm like, I don't remember what relationships
You followed
they
the
were.
canon ships, which are the obvious ones, which is the main girl with Vash, and then the tall one with Wolfwood, Yeah.
She was my favorite. I loved her.
She
She was just so adorable. Like, she was this gigantic woman, and she had just the sweetest voice and the great demeanor. Like, she was great.
She is a very nice lady.
She is.
Who is also incredible.
And she's not dead. And I would just like to say, this is an anime where my favorite character did not die. And there was a cat every episode. Like, who can complain about that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Where are you going?
To grab a soda, because my throat hurts.
I see. What's the next one?
Nice. All right.
He walked away. I mean, I don't remember it a lot. I mean, this, I can continue with Hunter x Hunter, where I call Leorio, I always called him Leora Lulu Vash because they look very similar. Like, Vash is blonde and Leorio is a brunette, but...
It's black hair.
Oh, was it black?
Yes,
okay.
it's black.
Is that called like a raven? I don't know the term for someone who has black hair.
I think it's called black hair.
Well, no, like you would call a person with white, yellow hair a blonde. You would call a person with red hair a redhead. It's a term referring to it.
I have brown hair.
You wouldn't say that's a black hair. Like that's weird. Okay, anyways. But no, their faces, the way they are drawn, they are very similar.
I totally disagree.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, it's Leorio! No, wait, it's the opposite.
Yes.
When I saw Leorio, I was like, oh, it's Vash! Like, they both have really high, spiky hair. They wear teeny tiny, weird sunglasses.
Okay, I'll give you the glasses and the spiky hair.
Like, Vash, okay, so yeah, Vash has bangs. But, like, they both are really thin, really tall, really long faces. If you ignore the coloring, they look incredibly similar.
I will admit it is closer than I was going to think it was, because I was going to mock you horrendously for this, but it is much closer.
Okay, I have been making this joke for over a year now, and you're only now looking at them side by side?
Yes.
You are a butt. I was gonna call you something else, but this is a wholesome channel.
She said as we talked about the next disturbing anime. But yeah, I don't know, like, as a kid growing up, this was, like, one of the things that got me into anime along with Cowboy Bebop. These were...
I liked this so much more than Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
I believe this is actually my sister's favorite anime.
The action scenes are really, really cool. Mm-hmm. The setups are cool. The villains are creative. The world is really creative. It's neat to see, you know, fallen society or fallen tech society is, like, something you see all the time as a setting if you get into, like, any of this sci-fi stuff. But I think it's one of the better ones, because they clearly don't really know what they have. Like, one minute you're like, oh, we're going to take a stagecoach down to here and catch the giant hover train down to the next town. Like, it's really interesting. It's a neat anachronism. And the movie is really good as well.
I don't remember the movie.
They stole a guy's head. It was a statue.
Oh.
They stole the plant.
Yeah, I don't remember specifics about this show. I remember the overall things, honey. I have seen it one time.
Villains are really
Every
cool.
single episode I have seen. Every single scene I have seen. One time. Alright, what's the next one?
Fine.
You don't have anything else to add. You're just being a mopey baby.
I am, and I can do that. Okay, Durarararara.
Do-da-da-da.
Yeah. Which, I think we've basically touched on enough.
I thought you already talked about.
Yeah, I don't remember, but the specifics are, it was a sequel to Baccano. It's got a zillion characters. It's a more modern time. They're all over the top.
Cool.
It's worth the watch, and then, I don't know, if you still like it, keep watching it. Maybe you'll have the inertia that I didn't, because I watched it when it came out, and I was like, yeah, that was good. And then the second season came out, and I went, well, you've already resolved the first season, and also, oh my god, you have so many characters, I don't remember what's going on.
I believe that.
You just had a conversation between 3 people, and I remember none of them, and you implied to me that they were major players from context clues, like you spent 15 minutes on the scene. It was bad.
Ouch.
Oh, the next one would be the original Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh! Okay, so the original Full Metal Alchemist was
I'll see you all next episode.
No, I liked Brotherhood way more. But it has 2 seasons. The first season follows the manga beautifully. In fact, a lot of people say you should watch season 1 of the original Full Metal Alchemist anime and then continue with Brotherhood from season 2 and on, because it's Or is it the first 13 episodes of Brotherhood? Whatever. That is really loud. I hope you know that.
Love you.
Do you? It's really loud. You're really close to the mic. I disagree. I think Brotherhood, I think it's worth watching for the differences, but whatever. It's good. And then the second season, they have caught up with the manga at the time, and so they completely veered off track. And this is going to go into spoiler territory. If you didn't, enjoy the first time I was talking about Brotherhood, you're not going to enjoy this one, so it doesn't matter. But it goes crazy. So the homunculi are created when you attempt to bring a family member back to life. So Sloth, instead of being the fastest, biggest homunculus, is actually Ed and Al's mom. Wrath, who was not Hitler.
Celine Bradley, the Fuhrer.
The Führer, not Celine Bradley.
Yeah, sorry.
Führer Bradley. Führer King Bradley.
Yeah.
He is actually Pride in the original anime. There is no Celine Bradley. In fact, the new... what is that one? So the original Greed is still there. Pride. Wrath is Izumi Curtis's son. And he has Ed's original arm and leg, which is very convoluted, so I'm not going to get into that. But the main, one of the biggest differences is that when people in this world use their alchemy, they're using power from another universe, another world. And that other world is our world during World War II, basically. Mm-hmm. There are Nazis, there are blimps, it's cray-cray. And some people prefer this anime because it had more episodes for the 2 seasons that it was than the first 2 seasons you would have in Brotherhood. So the entire first season of this anime was condensed into only a few episodes for Brotherhood. So they feel like they got to, get to know Maze Hughes more and his family. So it hurt more when he died. So, take that, leave it as you want. And a lot of people preferred the ending of this one because they felt it was more realistic. It didn't leave with everybody being happy. This anime ended with Ed has gone to the other world and he's pretty much there permanently. Like, he's not, the one chance he had to make it back, it didn't work. Envy in this anime is the same Envy, but like he looks the same normally, but his real form is Hohenheim's son. So he is Ed's half brother. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say they did make a movie.
Yes, I was about to.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So Ed, the anime, the episodes end with Ed in the other world and Al in his normal world, being able to do alchemy. The movie picks up there. Ed does make it back to this world, and Winry, the absolute goddess that she is, knew Winry was my favorite character, one of my favorite characters. We talked about this. She I don't remember, but she knows that Ed is coming back, or he is back. She has a case, and she has a new arm and leg for him, because the current ones he has, they were for when he was shorter and younger, so they're not the right size anymore, unfortunately. And so he gets new automail, and he's like, yeah, I have to go back. I don't remember why. Like, he had to save everybody or something. He goes back. And everybody's like, whoa, where's Al? And then in the other world where Ed is, Al pops out of a suit of armor and he's like, hey, I'm here. And of course, Ed is very angry with him at first because he wasn't supposed to do that. He was supposed to remain in his world and do alchemy and be happy with all their family and friends. And he was like, you're my brother. You are my family. I'm going to be happy here.
Rinley keeps hitting me with wrenches.
Nah, she mostly did that to Ed. So, like, the brothers are not on their world. They can't use alchemy, but they're together. So, it is kind of a happy ending, but it's not as happy and perfect as Brotherhood's was. So,
yeah.
Some people, prefer one over the other, and I obviously love Brotherhood more.
And yes, it's the happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gluttony is the same. I don't remember if you get to find out who he is related to, but Lust is Scar's girlfriend or Scar's brother's girlfriend. It was Scar's brother. It was his girlfriend. No. Scar's brother in the original just cut off his own arm to give it to Scar.
Yeah, but
then he died.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, he was the one who came up with the reverse circle to save the entire world.
Yeah. Because
he used alchemy and alchemy, but no, they didn't do that in the original one. It was the homunculi were created by Father.
Right.
So it was really sad watching Sloth, so in this version, Ed and Al's mom, fight the two kids because they were like, this is Mom. Like, it may not actually be her, but it looks like her.
Right.
And the kid, Wrath, the one who is Uzumi Curtis's son, thinks that this is his mom. Like, he was raised as her child, basically. He is able to combine with other items and other people, and he's like, I'm gonna rescue her by combining with her. And they had previously used, or they'd like thrown something at him. It was like a locket that had their mom's hair in it, whatever. I don't remember exactly. It's been a little while. Yeah. I don't watch it as much as Brotherhood. But if there's an item of the original person that the homunculi was created from, it will kill them. So when he absorbs Sloth into himself, it kills her because he has that locket. So that was an interesting change. It was very, very different, but
I mean, I thought it was okay. Like, it definitely feels like you get like a hard right on the pacing and the plot, because that's what kind of always happens when you're dealing with the idea of like, oh, well, we've got a manga that we're gonna and we caught up, time to end.
Yeah.
So that I almost wish they had. I don't know if they knew when they started, but if they did know, I wish, or if they didn't know, I wish they had, and if they did know, I wish that they had decided like, okay, here's the parts we're keeping, and here's how we're going to weave it into our ending. Because there are certain things that they kind of bring up and drop because it doesn't make sense, because they don't talk about it, because they run out of time and go off into their own plot. And then there's certain things that just like don't quite feel right to put here and then put there. It doesn't quite flow as smoothly. But I do think it's actually an okay plot. Like,
oh yeah, I liked it. It is one of my favorite animes. I have watched it at least like 3 times compared to Brotherhood, which I've watched like 20 times. So I actually did kind of like that Rose very clearly had a crush on Ed. Through the whole thing. Rose,
yeah, no, I know.
From the beginning.
Through the whole thing, really?
Yes, from the beginning to the end. She had a crush on him, and then she was madly freaking in love with him.
I remember being madly in love at the end. I thought it was more just like...
She had a crush at the start. Like that, yeah. Like, even in the original anime, like, at least that's my impression, is that, like, she she's got a crush on him. But it becomes so much more in the original anime that by the end, yeah, she is flat out in love with him. And Ed is just like, no. And I am a very, very hardcore Edwin shipper. So I was like, this is wrong. But the way they characterized her, it fit. Like he was the one that made her get up and change and stand on her own 2 feet and become a better person. So it's understandable that she would at least idolize him in some way.
Didn't they make characters that are only in this one? Like, wasn't
Sloth. Their mom.
Well, no, I meant even early on, like when they didn't need to divert, there's that thief lady with the magic cards. That
Panina. Oh, with the master. She's in like 2 episodes.
Of the original.
Yes.
And not in the new one.
Correct.
Yeah, so she's only in that one.
She might have been in the manga. I mean, it was a. I don't. I don't.
Well,
remember.
it's weird because like I remembered like yeah, she was an interesting kind of character. Like I remember that was a fun episode, or maybe it was a done episode. I don't know.
I liked it.
I remember it, and it was just like that's kind of weird though that you just have this character that never going to see this again. Like because well, to be fair, the original started on a much more
serious note.
No, I'd say it started on a much more like episode of the week note.
Ah, yes,
like,
yes, it did.
Hey, we're gonna just veer off into randomness and deal with problems. And see you next time. Oh wait, people are dead now. I see you're showing off our couch.
Yes, that's because the cross-stitching videos have ended. Do you have anything else to add for Fullmetal Alchemist, or shall we leave it for next time?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
What is next?
Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, we can talk about Dragon Ball Z.
And that is the end of 4 Heavenly Beasts Day 17. I got 4 hours and 30 minutes of footage, not as much as I'd hoped. Really, really busy day. And we've got the new couch here. Oh, it's so comfy. It's great. But it is bigger than the last one. We actually had to push my desk all the way up against the wall. So I'm very limited in my space. I might need to get a new desk. Like the full desk comes out to here, but the part where I can put my legs starts here because there's a block at the end, and it's kind of a problem. I only have this much space to work if I'm gonna be up against the edge of my desk, and it makes it a little difficult. Oh, guess I could show you guys my progress, huh? So, that is where we are. You can really see the snake now. It's looking good. I'm actually doing a lot on the page below and the next page. So, oops, but you know, it just helps me more when I get to those other pages later. I don't really have anything else to talk about, so like, subscribe, share, comment, all that jazz. I'll see you guys in the next video.